everyone. I'm gonna keep this short. This is gonna be a fancy cake build showcase on the early version of Town Star Godot. If you haven't seen my cake build showcase, I suggest you check that one out first because this is very similar and I'm not gonna explain everything all over again. I'm just gonna explain the adjustments made on that. So fancy cakes requires cake and requires strawberries and chocolate bars, so there's not a whole lot to add on to it. This build does 7 fancy cakes per hour. I don't trust all these other numbers, but the fancy cakes at 7 per hour is accurate. One thing I want to mention, on my last video I mentioned that this is a ocean that was not working. I still believe it's an ocean, but anyways, they coded it in as a river, so it's actually giving passive water. But just pretend that it's an ocean. If it was an ocean, you would get passive salty for your salt fields on the edge. And this is supposed to be no NFTs, but I have my Express Depot at the top right. That one's not important, just use the Trade Depot. And I also have the Haunted Maze Zone 3 giving passive salty. So if that NFT wasn't there and if you had an ocean, you would be able to run 4 salt fields at the fastest craft timer of 30 seconds. Just keep that in mind. Not gonna go and explain that again, so that's it. Okay. So the differences between this one and the fancy cake build, you have a chocolate shop right here crafting fancy cakes. And in addition to the cakes you're already crafting, you're gonna need 3 chocolate bars and 2 strawberries. So chocolate bars will require a couple chocolate shops making the chocolate bars, so I have 3 of them. And you would also need cocoa. And I put down 2 cocoa trees for that. The tractors would collect them and bring them to the silo. And as for the strawberries, just 1 strawberry field will do. This one is actually negatively affected by salty. You could even have the strawberry field like within your area where you have salty to slow it down, because honestly you do not need that many strawberries. So yeah, you could have the strawberry field over here, just slow it down. Another thing was I wanted to put more storage in. Depending on how balanced your build is, you don't need to do this, but for the sake of this build design that I made, I replaced one of the windmills so I can put down another silo since I'm now collecting strawberries and cocoa, just in case, so it wouldn't jam one silo, because normally you'd easily get to 20 items with all these crops. And I also added another storehouse, same situation, you got your chocolate bars, and now you also have fancy cakes to deal with, so you're gonna need more storage. But yeah, everything else is the same. That's the only adjustments I made. So instead of 8 or so cakes per hour, it's now 7 fancy cakes per hour. And it probably could be more fancy cakes per hour if I had more salt fields. Yeah, more salt production. That's probably the only thing that's slowing it down. And of course, we can't forget about the auto cells. So you want to have your fancy cakes on there, your chocolate bars, and your strawberries. And on some items such as chocolate bars, I have a sell amount at 12. That means it won't actually start selling the batch of 10 until it hits 12 chocolate bars. So I can always have 2 chocolate bars on the side in case my chocolate shops still needs to pick up 2 more chocolate bars basically. Alright, but yeah, that's everything, short and simple. If you liked the video, leave a like, leave a comment with any feedback, subscribe if you haven't done so. I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching.